Welcome and welcome. Welcome all of you to the legendary Bangalore Toastmasters Club. This is meeting number 1336. Even though my badge says treasurer, but I'll be the surgeon at arms for today's meeting. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for taking some time off your busy schedules and coming here today, being part of this wonderful club. Why are we here today? Obviously for the BTMC meeting. What are the takeaways for us? We are here to improve our public speaking, our listening skills, leadership skills. But when we are here, that is when we are conquering fear. Right? I appreciate all the role takers, all the speakers, all the evaluators who come here and speak because we are trying to learn something new. We have a very big list of speakers, role takers, and evaluators today. We have two icebreakers. In fact, we have to appreciate the fact that they are coming here, getting rid of their fears, so that they can learn. Goes well with the theme, fortune favors the brave. If we hide behind a wall, we will stay there for the rest of our lives. It is for us to improve, to volunteer and improve and come forward so that we improve. Before we start the meeting, I would like to ask here, how many of you have cell phones with flashlight? Can you please raise your hands? I'm pretty sure all of us. Can I request you to please take out your cell phones and check if you have flashlight or no? Now that you have taken out your phones, again I request all of you to please put your phones in silent mode. Because you're in the flow now, you have your cell phones in hand. I request you all to please put your phone in silent mode or you can switch it off if you're not very busy. I'll give you 10 more seconds to do so. Now that the phones are switched off, why did you do that? It's a distraction for the speakers. Because when the speaker is here, prepared a speech or a table topic speaker, when he's here and when he gets distracted, the flow of thought will go away. What else we should not do? We should not walk around when a speaker is speaking on stage. You can walk in or move around when you hear an applause. Right? The third and most important rule is don't offend others. Don't talk about sex, politics or religion. Let us sober down and have a normal talks. Now, I think almost took 2.5 minutes. The presiding officer will start shouting from there. Today's presiding officer is a person who has conquered fear and has become fortunate. He has had this task of managing the TPL. We had a lot of issues and he has overcome those issues. The presiding officer for today, our VP Education, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shashank, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. So I call to order meeting number 1336 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. The minutes of the previous meeting 1335 was shared over WhatsApp and it was also shared over mail today. Are there any specific amendments or suggestions that you want to make? So secretary, please make a note of it and then make those changes from the upcoming minutes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So are there anything else? If there aren't any, then the meeting the minutes of the previous meeting 1335 stands fast. There are quite a few guests in front of us today, so amongst us today, so may I request the guests to please rise. Yeah, please. So members of BTMC, so how can we welcome them? Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. And now I request the committee members to please rise. So guests, please Do let us know if at all if you have any specific queries related to Toastmasters. Okay, we would be more than willing to or happy to share you the relevant information after the meeting gets over. That is after 8:30 p.m. So thank you. Well, the theme for today's meeting is Fortune Favors the Brave, which signifies the importance of the word courage. So let me take you through 1930. So that was the time when the airline industry was at its very nascent stage. And especially in India, there were hardly few airstrips, not many pilots, obviously. There were very few, handful of them. And that's when a Muslim cleric by name Aga Khan decided to run a competition. The competition is all about flying, the flying competition. The rules of the game are pretty simple. There are only three specific rules. One, the person who flies between England and India or from India to England in the shortest possible time will get 500 pounds. 500 pounds in those days, 1930, was a huge money, massive sum of money. And the second rule was it has to be a solo tour. Nobody should accompany the pilot. And the third one, the trip needs to be completed in less than 6 weeks' time. Unlike now where you can fly from India to England in less than 8 hours, so those days in 1930, you can't. Because the technology was very nascent at its nascent stage, the planes were small, you didn't have radars, and more importantly, the flying path. If you think of the flying path between India and England, it starts from India, Iran, Iraq, moves to Egypt, then to Libya, crosses the Mediterranean, reaches Italy, France, and then England. It takes a very circuitous route, and it takes days. And in that particular competition which Aga Khan floated, there were three contestants. Contestant number one, Manmohan Singh. Not the one who served as the Prime Minister of our country, he was a pilot. And unfortunately, he took off from England, and unfortunately he got into a technical snag when he was flying over the city of Marseille in France, and he had to abandon, and with great difficulty he completed it. And the second contestant was aspire engineer, a brilliant teenager, just 17 years of age, who eventually became the Chief of Air Staff of Indian Air Force. And he started again from England. And after many stopovers, multiple stopovers, he reached the city of Alexandria in Egypt. And that's when he realized there was some problem in his plane. There was a technical snag. The spark plugs needs to be replaced. Unfortunately, in those days, Egypt never had the spare spark plugs. It has to be imported from England, which is again going to take a week's time. So he ordered and waited there in the city of Alexandria. And the third contestant was our very own J.R.D. Tata. He started off from Karachi. Those days, Karachi, before partition, obviously was a part of India. He started off from Karachi and then a couple of stopovers, and then he also reached Alexandria. When he saw the Havilland, the gypsy flight which was parked in the tarmac of Alexandria, he knew that my fellow competitor was here. So he went and then he met Aspire engineer and he said, hey, what's happening? Then Aspire engineer said the entire story, and then he figured out that this guy is waiting for the spark plugs to come in from England. That's when J.R.D. Tata did something which a normal soul doesn't do. He did have some spare spark plugs. He lent 4 of them to Aspire engineer and also helped him to ensure the flight was back in flying condition. Aspire engineer took off from Alexandria, reached Karachi and won the competition and pocketed 500 pounds. So the man who helped didn't win the race. He was late by 2.5 hours. So why am I saying this? Many a times what we do is, what we feel is courage is normally related to act of heroism, act of Macoism. But in my stand, what Ratan Tata did was not an act of benevolence alone. it was an act of highest degree of courage. The ability to help someone who is in real need is an act of courage. Here in Toastmasters, we do have that opportunity day in and day out to support someone to become a better communicator or leader. With that note, let me introduce you to a person who is as courageous as I am. He is going to be the MC for this meeting, the man who is going to take us through the rest of the proceedings today. So he was the one who served as the president of this club. Yeah, fine, humorous speaker, especially when he talks about his stint with L&T in China. I think that was a great story to listen to. And more importantly, he is known for his incisive evaluation and terrific table topics. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome the MC for today's evening, the charming Toastmaster Nitin.
Thank you, Reciting Officer, for those kind words. Today's theme, though it's simple to all of us, we know fortune is brave. But do you know one thing? In every day, in our decisions we take, bravery is involved. An amount of bravery is involved. More audacious is the risk, the decision when the risks are high. It's proportionate to the kind of decisions you take. The presiding officer was talking about a very serious incident of competition and benevolence and the bravery is involved. It's also involved in the normal decisions you take, like changing a job or getting married or changing your residence, or for that matter, even to speaking to a girl. You mentioned about my stint in China, so let me talk about an incident where it was my initial days in China when I was posted there. Unknown place, small village, small town, and 3 of us were Indians working there. And everything we needed a translator. Even to go to a hair salon, we needed a translator. But one day we decided to be brave. We said, let's go without the translator to a Chinese restaurant and order food in a Chinese restaurant where everything isn't written in Chinese. So we took the courage, went to the restaurant. The restaurant was on the 2nd floor. There was a lift. We entered the lift, 2 of us that day. And as the lift was closing, 2 beautiful looking girls entered. Now, we didn't know, foreign land, and we were a little taken aback, not because of anything, but we didn't want to get in any kind of problem. But they entered and the lift door closed. As the lift was going up, I heard somebody say hello. Now in China, amongst Chinese, they don't say hello. They say ni hao. That means, so I knew it was for one of us. He was my junior, my colleague. I told him, look, it looks like it's for me. Sir, whoever it is, don't even talk. I had to take a decision. Hello was mentioned. Somebody has to respond. As it was going to the next floor, I took the courage. I was brave enough to say hello. I didn't know which of the girls. And then I asked, do you speak English? One girl mentioned like this to the other girl. That's the end of the conversation. Is it the end? I took one more step and my colleague was shivering. He said, sir, don't do anything, don't do anything. I said, no, we need to take a decision now. So as the 2nd floor came and the lift door was opening, I told the girl who was speaking English, do you mind having a dinner with us? In India, I would have got a slap. 100%. That decision changed the way I worked in Yancheng. That was the city. Because that girl was working with the government in Yancheng city, and that friendship which started that day helped us, our business, to interact with the government more and more, and we had no problem whenever we. So that particular, what I'm trying to say is, decisions in our daily life can happen. Only thing is, we need to take the decision. That's all about it. It could be a small decision, but you don't know where it is going to lead. So definitely, fortune comes the moment you take a decision. same as Ralph C. Smedley, who once decided that many of the members, many of the people who are afraid to speak in public, they need some sort of training. So he started a movement in 1924, Santa Ana, California, and all of us, Toastmasters across the globe, in 149 countries, and about 3 lakh members, currently members, of Toastmasters. And can you guess how many people have been benefited so far in the Toastmaster movement right from the beginning? Any idea?
8 million. 8 million.
That decision is a little more brave. It is 4 million. 4 million. Bruno is always often. So 4 million people across the globe have got benefited. If you see any Toastmasters club, anywhere, any part of the world, if you go, they've got 3 parts. One is the prepared speech part, where the speakers who are prepared, they come here and give a speech. And each speaker is getting evaluated by an individual evaluator. The second one will be more interesting, where a table topic speaker comes here and throws the topics to members and willing guests, and then you have to take the great decision to come here and speak for 2 minutes, depending on the time. We will mention about the time. And the third and the most important is the evaluation overall of the club, how the president performed, how I performed, everyone, how the meeting started. He is already sitting here and making notes. He is a fitness enthusiast, has been a president of our club. I was talking to him. He said, generally, how was life going on? He said, this pandemic has really put a spoke on my IT projects. But it has been a lot of realization for me. He recently lost his father. He says, now I know the importance of elderly people in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge the General Evaluator of the Day, Toastmaster Ayappa Ponacha. Now, when the speaker is speaking, you need to keep track of the time, right? We need to speak within the allotted time. So we have a time manager who is keeping track of the time, and at the end of the meeting, he will be assisting the general evaluator in giving his report about the time. I request Jeevan to stand up and take the acknowledgement from the Toastmasters.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. As a timer, it's my duty to time and record the duration of the entire meeting and its individual part. For today's meeting, the speeches are 5 to 7 minutes in duration. At 5 minutes, I will hold up the green card, 6 minutes, yellow card, and 7 minutes, the red card. Table topic speeches are from 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will hold up to the green card, and 1 minute 30 seconds, I hold up the yellow card, and 2 minutes, the red card. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report to the general evaluator and submit to the club secretary in order to become a part of the permanent record. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Right from the time I joined Toastmasters Club, one consistent remark on my talk is always the number of hours I use. I am not able to overcome that, but I'm trying to use it in such a way that people will not notice. I hope today's encounter does not notice that. And today's encounter is the youngest member of Bangalore Toastmasters Club who joined our club last month, Toastmaster Rashi Malgota.
Good evening, everyone. So, as the encounter for today, I will keep note of the R's, the ums, the ers, the repetitive words like but, so, the amount of words we use in our speeches. So I will keep track of all those words and give a report at the end so that the speaker does not use such filler words and reduces it. Thank you.
Thank you. And also grammarian is very important for any speaker, like me especially. And today's grammarian role is being performed by Toastmaster Chaitra. can you please give your brief?
Good evening, everyone. For a speech to be great, you need to make sure that your grammar is impeccable. As a grammarian for today, I will be taking a note of good usage of grammar and not so good usage of grammar. And I will report back to the GE when called upon. There is also a word of the day. Today's word of the day is audacious, which means bold or daring. And I hope all of you will use the word of the day today. Thank you.
So, the first speaker of the day today, she is giving her first speech in the club. And the first speech is always an introduction speech about herself or himself. She is doing her projects under dynamic leadership level 1. She is also a fitness enthusiast like our Ayappa, and also joined our club a month back. And her evaluator is Toastmaster Sudipto. I request Sudipto to kindly stand up and read out the guidelines of Sudipto.
Thank you, Nitin, and very good evening to all Toastmasters and guests. The purpose statement of the icebreaker is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and to learn the basic structure of public speaking. Time 46 minutes.
Thank you, Sudipto. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome the first speaker of the day, Toastmaster Sahana.
Born and brought up in Bangalore, which I believe to be the best city in India, I've always loved everything that's outside the book. It all started when I was a 5-year-old. My father is an MCom graduate, has served as a government employee in the Department of Industries and Commerce. Being a Telgite, he loves Chiranjeevi. He used to play his movies so many times that I started to fall in love with his songs. And I even began to dance to them. Soon, I discovered that I was good at singing and dancing when I got to perform in my school events. I was also given the opportunity to choreograph these events. And we all know how it is in Indian families, right? When the kid is good at something, they love to flaunt them in every other family gathering and birthday parties. This moved on to me getting an opportunity to performing in a television show, in which I was still the second round, but I ended up forgetting most of the steps, so I covered it up with a Garba step. My mother is a deputy registrar in the Bangalore University of Law College, and she is the most selfless person I know. You know, they say Jack of all trades, master of none. Well, that's me. I like so many different things, starting from dancing, singing, athletics, and many more. Every summer, I used to try different things. Bharatanatyam, badminton, basketball, yoga, and what not. But let's be honest. Let me be honest. Amidst all this, I've had a roller coaster ride with my academics. Maths has definitely not been a cakewalk. Did you know that math anxiety activates the same part of your brain as physical pain? Sometimes I need a calculator to do the simplest calculations, like 2 plus 2 equals to 4, just to be sure. My mother was called several times by my principal for my poor performance in class, and I could see tears rolling down from her eyes. I still remember the day my SSLC results were supposed to be out. I was super nervous. And when it was out, it was first class. For the amount of efforts and preparation that I had put in, I was expecting a distinction, and I shared the same expectations at home. My mother hugged me and told us she was proud of me. Later that day, I got a call from my principal asking me and my mother to come to school. To our surprise, this time it was to appreciate and congratulate me for my drastic improvement. While my principal hugged me as well, I looked at my mother and I could see tears rolling down from her eyes. But this time, it was tears of happiness. My mother used to get furious every time my sister and I used to get into one of our silly fights. Trust me, so many remotes and badminton rackets have been sacrificed because she couldn't raise her hand on us. My sister is doing her MArch in Set Ahmedabad. In spite of all the fights that we have had, I trust her choices so much that I ask her everything, starting from what to order for dinner, what outfit to buy, and to making my major life decisions. I remember once when one of her wardrobe locks was broken, she actually bought a chain and a lock so that I don't invade her treasure. Pandemic is a period that brought in revelation with respect to physical and mental health. There was a big transformation from the unhealthy lifestyle that I've always led. This is the period during which my journey towards being a fitness enthusiast began. Being a person who forgets to eat, yes, literally forgets, everything started to change once I started being regular. Believe it or not, the last time I ate a pizza was 9 to 10 months ago. The only loss here would be for Swiggy and Zomato because I've almost stopped ordering junk from outside. Every time I go up on stage for one of my performances, I used to come out to be very nervous. My voice used to shiver. And whenever I'm asked to speak or introduce myself, my body language would automatically turn out to be someone who's very underconfident. Being an MBA aspirant, this is one of the major skills that I need to have. And what better platform than this esteemed club to overcome my inhibitions. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sahana. That was an act of courage. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Especially when you forget some lines. The amount of turmoil one undergoes, only that person knows. Others will not know. So it's a skill how to hide it. I still remember in 1984, when I was in college, I wanted to appear for a debate competition. And along with my friend, Naveen Bangera, both of us sitting together. He was elder to me by 1 year. And the whole hall was jam-packed. We were waiting for the next turn. I was to speak after Naveen. And I had two rows like this. Competition is going on. Naveen's name was called. Naveen got up. I was waiting for my next chance. He opened the door and started running away. I could see that he's out on the street. Now I knew mine is next turn. Before my name was called, I also ran. I'll tell you, 1984, still remember those days, that, weakness carried in my mind till I joined Toastmasters Club. Thanks to all of you, you are able to remove that, and I'm able to come here today and speak to my heart's content. Incidentally, Toastmasters Sahana was mentored by Priyanka Romare. The next speaker is also going to speak on the same project, Project 1, and giving to introduce himself to the club. And as a tradition, guests would have seen, we all stand up when the first project speech is given. That just encourages the new member who comes here, shows the courage and gives a speech. That is the acknowledgement of the courage. And the second speaker is being evaluated by Lalit. I just saw Lalit walking in. Lalit. So the guidelines have already been read, so no need to read the guidelines. And this speaker is mentored by DTM Sumitra Mangaman. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Toastmaster, Toastmaster Chetan Aradhya.
Karnataka Coffee Nadu.
Chikmagalur.
Very good. I am from the same district. I was born in 21st of the Valentine month. I am proud to say that my father Jaidev Aradhya and my mother Ratnamma both are farmers. And I have one elder brother. His name is Swami. He is working in a finance company. And I have only one wife. Her name is Minata Shri. It is not only difficult to remember, it is tricky to pronounce. We have two loving kids, Sahitya and Purit Aradhya. And my hobbies are, and I used to go for a marathon run, and recently I have started one new hobby, reading books. That is because of Lalit Dhanush. After my PU exam, I am very much confident that I will fail in maths. I don't know how to show my face to my parents and my relatives, especially opposite home Shweta. Without telling anyone, I ran away to Bangalore for searching it. I came here and I found a job in Parle-G distributor office. My job is to distribute the biscuit to various bakeries in Bangalore. And my boss, Mr. Venkatesh, asked me about myself. I told him the same. Because of failure in an exam, I ran away from home. And my boss Venkatesh, taking care of one of his relatives, is kept in his home. Not only is kept in the home, he is taking care of all his educational expenses like tuition fees, etc. I came to know that from my boss Venkatesh, the result will be, second PU result will be out on that day. I was so much nervous. And my boss Venkatesh seen in the result in the internet and proudly announced that I have passed in all the subjects and his relative failed in 3 subjects. Same day only my boss Venkatesh called me and told that you are studied in a rural area and you have come from uneducated family, but you can able to pass all the subjects. Same day only he paid me full 1 month salary and told me to go back to native and continue my studies. As per his advice, I rushed back to my home. I continued my study. I decided to join a paramedical course. I got a seat in government reputed college, that is Bangalore Medical College. I completed my diploma course and I joined work in Army Metropolis. After 6 years, I got a job in Roche Diagnostic where I am currently working. From past 6 years, I am working in the Roche Diagnostic. In spite of running away from home because of shame and fear, today I settled in my life. I am married, I have 2 lovely kids. Why I joined Toastmaster is to develop my communication skills and my leadership skills. I hope you will all support me in my adventure. Thank you.
Yeah, for the first time speakers, my request is don't leave the podium till the next speaker comes. You know, that has been the tradition here. So wait for the master ceremonial who comes and then leave the podium. Let us not leave this podium empty at any point of time, right? The next speaker has been a treasurer of our club. He is giving a project based on presentation mastery. Now, but I have seen his presentation when he gave the budget, and he, he was able to face all the acrimonious or all the difficult questions. But I'm happy to see him doing a project on presentation mastery. He is being mentored by our godfather of our club, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. I'm mentioning mentor's name because mentors feel very proud that their product is delivering a speech. I'm sure, because when you build a person and then it is, I would take it that way, though no mentee I have right now, but that's how it is. So, ladies, and he's going to, his title of the speech is Connecting with Style. And he's being evaluated by none other than DTM Rajdeep. I request Ganesh to read out the guidelines of the project.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The objective of the speech is, or the purpose statement, the purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify his or her primary style. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share the impact of his or her style on others. Timer, please note, speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to speak.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Pratik Uttappa for you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nitin, for the wonderful introduction. How many of you agree that communication works for those who work at it? Majority of them. Over the last few weeks, I've been trying to identify my style of communication, and I have found out that I have been adapted to 2 styles of communication. At work, I prefer the supportive style of communication, whereas with my personal interactions, it has been the initiating style of communication. In the year 2019, that was during the initial phase of my career as a technical manager, I was assigned 6 developers, and all of them were fresh college passouts. We were assigned to a project and we were expected to work on a new technology. I was worried and tense since my team did not have any prior work experience. And also, the management had very high expectation from us. During the interaction with my team, I realized the fresh graduates needed clear direction, clarity, and we need to tell them about what is expected from them. I am sure my communication with my team was open and free so that I could understand their areas of improvement or their strengths so that I could help them in their learning path. I let my team do mistakes, and I did give them a feedback about what actually went wrong. And also I did back them up, which was to ensure that they stay motivated, and in spite of me taking a hit on our deliverables. It was during this phase that each member of my team did rally around and they upskilled themselves. They cross-skilled my other teammates, and they brought new ideas and innovations on the table. And they showcased their fullest potential, and we managed to complete our task on time. It was a win-win for both of us. This made me realize communication works 2 ways. The way we communicate, the response and the result that we get back. Today, I prefer working with fresher graduates with the rich experience that I've had in my previous day. On my personal interactions, I prefer an initiating style of communication. As I'm sociable and I have a lot of patience and I'm enthusiastic and I love connecting with my loved ones. My family approaches me for suggestions related to various areas like maybe buying a property or an investment or related to technology. Because usually I have information or data on my fingertips. I'm also very popular with the kids. I can connect with kids of any age, and you will find me surrounded by kids during functions, and they're happy parents spending their time without being interrupted by them. To their parents, they suggest that I should open a creche, and I believe I should definitely look at the idea. As part of my project, I've understood that there are 4 different styles of communication. And in order to take my communication to the next level, I should work on certain areas and also try to adopt or apply the other style of communication styles. Since I love talking, I usually end up interrupting others before they complete. I have an awful listening skill. I get distracted with the slightest distraction. So I should practice active listening. I cannot communicate a no to people, and that impacts my schedule. The biggest challenge with me is that I assume things and I do not go further. Earlier, during the weekends, I used to sit in front of my monitor thinking my mom did not have a plan over the weekend or she did not want to go out. And my mom assumed that I was busy at work and did not want to interrupt me. And this came up during a conversation recently. I felt I was so foolish that I did not ask her if she had any plans, because I could have spent more time with her. I also have a challenge sharing feelings or something that bothers me with others, because I've always believed that when we share problems, 95% of the people are not bothered about our problems, and the other 5 are happy that we have problems. But this doesn't apply to the inner circle of a family. So I need to be open while sharing the feelings so that I'll be able to connect more. I do believe that in today's fast-paced world, having effective communication is mandatory. And definitely there are no magic words in order to improve communication. But 2 P's: practice and patience, which will help us improve. So Toastmasters, communicate more. Effective communications help solve more problems. Back to you, Timothy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pratik. I didn't know that he was good with kids like him. Next speaker is good with ladies. Ladies like him a lot. I worked with him for 2 terms. And so meticulous he was. Whenever we had a problem, he was a problem solver. Not only with ladies, he's good with anybody. And he went to district level, area director and whatnot. And wherever he went, he is the most popular man. He is going to give a speech based on visionary, visionary communication. And the speech is based on delivering a social speech, level 3. And it's about praising an organization or a person. And he's being evaluated by another nice Toastmaster Vivek. I request you to please read the guidelines of the speech.
So please listen carefully. This is a project off the beaten track. Project is to deliver social speeches, and the purpose is for the member to practice delivering social speeches. The social speeches can be raising a toast or accepting a reward and speaking about it, or a speech in honor of an individual or an organization. And timer, please note, it is not 5 to 7 minutes, it is 3 to 4 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. Now, this speaker, I have seen him so closely, and somebody told me that this speech today is going to give a different perspective of this Toastmaster. I am as curious as you are to learn and understand this perspective of Toastmaster Melvin Smith.
My speech title is Superwoman, Double Supermom. Who is the most audacious, self-sacrificing person in your family? I'm sure everyone will agree with me that moms are the force that holds the family together. And when moms move on, there's a huge void. Toastmasters and all you lovely guests, let me introduce you to Jeevaratni Foundation, which was formed to bring up children from the underprivileged, those who are orphaned, and those who are even more cruelly abandoned by their families. But an organization is only as good as its people. And it is at Jeevaratni I met Meena, middle-aged woman, very simple, born and brought up in Bangalore, at Church Street near Brigade Road, went to St. Joseph's School. She says she is a rebel in her family. She went on to work at the Taj Residency, then to a high-flying job in Muscat, Oman. There she met her husband, Roland Prochaska. They got married and they lived 15 to 30, 20 years in America. Having no biological children of their own, they had a life of fancy. And life suddenly brought them back to Bangalore 13 years ago. They lost their jobs. Call it audacious, call it a stroke of God, or a career change. When one chapter closes, a new chapter opens, says Meena. The Cherian family always wanted to give back to society. And so, with 4 acres donated by Meena's sister Maya and her husband, Captain Joe Samuel, they've started Jeevaratni Foundation at Nallur near Hosur. Today they have 45 kids, 40 to 50 kids, and their ideal choice for somebody to run the place was Meena and Roland, with no prior experience, and parents, especially mothers, know how difficult it is to bring up children of that age, especially of the background they come from. Meena has huge family support, but I can truly say and vouch the job that Meena is doing is truly commendable. They have 4 houses of over 20 children each, which are run by destitute women who are fondly called mothers. But the mother of all mothers is Meena, for her unflinching support, for her unconditional love and hard work. She teaches the children not just manners, ethics, discipline and respect. She has made Jeevaratni truly a home the children can look forward to. So today, I'd like to call Matthew, the youngest brother of Meena, and his wife Michelle, to please come to the stage. Incidentally, Meena has 4 brothers and 4 sisters, all starting with the name M. Matthew, Michelle, Maya, Manoj, etc., etc. So, I would like to present this certificate of commendation to Meena Prochaska for her undying support and love to the children and giving them a home. Superwoman, double super mom. Can you give them a standing ovation?
Thank you, Toastmaster Melvin. That was very touching, very moving. In fact, about 3 years back, we had gone to Jeevaratani and a lot of people joined us. And I would say one of the most happiest time we spent with the children. And the food was amazing. The love and affection the children were showing us, unbelievable. And the happiness which they were showing is, you can't, no medals or appreciation can compensate that kind of. So well done, congratulations, and you're doing a wonderful job. Thanks a lot. And coming to the next, the voting is on for the speakers, and the code is BTMC. BTMC. You'll just give 1 minute. Please vote whomever you feel spoke well, and so that it encourages the speaker to move on. BTMC. BTMC, Bangalore Toastmasters. So we will have a break, short break, maybe 10 minutes. Madam Sureka has after 8:30. Okay. So you all have to wait till the night. So just a bio break. Okay. Then we'll have a bio break for about 10 minutes and assemble back for the next part of the Toastmasters meeting. Thank you very much.
Certificate over here. If anyone likes to sign the certificate, they're welcome. The certificate is in front.
Welcome back, Toastmasters and guests. The next part of our meeting will be a table topic. We have a table topic master who will come and throw the topics. Incidentally, he is also a volleyball player, so he knows how to throw. He is from Tirthahalli and has done his schooling, education in different parts of Karnataka, Koppal, Raichur, Shimoga, and many places. Software engineer by profession. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome table topic master for today's meeting, Toastmaster Chirant HD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nitin, for a wonderful introduction. So yes, as he said, we are getting into the exciting session. So where I'll be throwing the topics at any one of you. So and I hope that you return it back with a very wonderful, like whatever you think. So and one more thing for the benefit of guests. So where does this part of a table topic and how does it help you? So whenever we are into a general conversation, we will be getting up with some kind of a topic so that we fail to sometimes react to it at that instant. But later we have multiple answers to that. I could have done this better like this, I could have done that, or I could have given him this kind of a response. So this actually helps you to improvise on that, so where you can think on your feet. So let us start our first topic, so which is going to be, when were you brave enough to shout at your spouse? So as related to this topic, theme of the day. So this goes to our beloved Toastmaster Robinson, sir.
What a topic. I can obviously do it here. Yes, we have been married for the last 46 years. During these 46 years, I hardly remember if you have got it. I always think, true. I always think, I call her my girl. I always say that you are sweet 17, you never grow. Imagine, from a different family, different culture, different background, she has married me. When she married me, she was getting more salary and a secure job in the bank. I was a stenographer. Then we have 3 children now. All the 3 children are happily settled. One in Boston, the daughter is in Sydney, my other son is. We are only at home we are only 2. She always says, you go away, leaving me alone. Nobody to speak to me because I lost my servant who was with me for 35 years, about a year back. Now, with this background, with this surrounding around me, with my girl there alone, when can I think of shouting at her? I always praise her, and that be one of the secrets of my success.
Okay. I thought you are obviously going to shout here, and when Bruno releases the video, you will be questioned back. Okay. Moving on. So sticking to the same literary kind of a thing. So most romantic song you have heard, and why is that? The topic goes to Toastmaster Ellen Tarana.
I think we live in an age of ever-changing social media where every day my favorite song keeps changing. It depends on the. I mean, I know you're all are laughing, but it so feels true. As I was walking, I don't know if it's a romantic song, but I loved Fields of Gold. But when sometimes I see a pretty girl, my mind goes ooh la la. Right? So my point is that these things keep ever changing, and that's what love is about, right? Sometimes it's a love for your spouse. Sometimes it's the love that you share for your grandmom. Sometimes it's the love that you share for a servant who has been with you for 35 years. And sometimes you appreciate them when they're not there. And sometimes it happens when you are alone in a vehicle listening to that song and remembering how much they've meant you and how much they've done for you. And I would say that different songs remind us of different people. And different people make life beautiful and lovely.
Toastmaster Alan, thank you. I hope that that Ulala song doesn't repeat. Okay. So our TMOD today want that the topic to be given to one more person. So which was given to Robinson sir. When was you brave enough to shout at your spouse? So which goes to Toastmaster Nazni. She wanted something related to the theme. So you are getting the same again.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I would say, like mentor, like mentor. I have been married for 22 years, and I don't know a single day my spouse would have raised his voice or I have raised my voice, because we got married at a very young age. And what's important is understand each other, accept them the way they are. Why do you have to scream and scream? Because at the end of the day, it's going to lose. You're going to lose your peace of mind. Don't try to change a person the way he is. The personality has to be the same. As they say, it does not have, you don't have to raise your voice to be brave. You can be brave by controlling your emotions. The best way is be friends with your spouse. And as Robinson sir said, like mentor, like I'm like the mentee. I have never raised, nor has my husband raised. I really feel it is the audacity of some people who actually take upon themselves. I'm really sorry to say that a few people do make sure that they raise their voice and suppress the other's problem. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now as a little bit over that anxiety, so what people would be thinking, and given the repeated topic, so I think you justified it. So moving on, so a good listener is a silent flatterer. So this goes to a Toastmaster Adi. A good listener is a silent flatterer.
A good listener is a silent flatterer. While I'm aware that we are not really allowed to speak about religious things here at the Toastmasters stage, I'm compelled to bring this particular topic in the light of that sense. We have been living in an age, as Toastmaster Alan just spoke about, that social media is so prevalent, right? We get to consume a lot of information coming our way through various sources, some verified, some not so verified. And I'm not going to take examples, but we all know the recent past has not been very kind to our country's general sentiment. A major contributor to that fact has been that we, thanks to our Supreme Leader, have become extremely good listeners. But what has also led to a sad state is that we have become silent flatterers in the process. What is important is, at times we need to show bravery. And bravery doesn't have to be always that you do audacious tasks. Bravery can be as simple as saying or calling a spade a spade. So while you can be a good listener, you never necessarily have to be a silent flatterer. Just have that cognizance, just have that mental presence to call a spade a spade. Back to Toastmaster.
Moving on to the next topic. Friends are best relatives. So let's welcome guest Srinidhi. Topic is friends are best relatives.
Good evening, everyone. I am Srinidhi. This is my first time here. I'm a bit nervous.
Friends are best relatives.
I'm from a place known as Tata in Karnataka. Actually, I'm not good with friends. I'm an introvert, extremely introvert. I've been to JSS college. I had few friends. Like when I was in school, I had rarely friends. I was the only girl sitting in a corner. Just me and myself. And then when I entered to the college, I realized that I should make friends. I should try to talk to people, know what they want, tell them what I want. Otherwise, I'll be sitting in a corner and then everybody will go. I have nothing to do with that. So I have my friend known as Neha. She's the best. I have been only 2 years with her, but I can tell her everything. Some things we can't share with our parents or relatives, but then we can tell it to our friends. I think that is the most best thing about friends.
I think well done, Srinidhi. I think most of the introverts would be going with the same problem. Okay. So moving on. What is the most dreaded time of the year? The topic goes to Vijay Kulkarni. What is the most dreaded topic? Sorry, dreaded time.
So most dreaded time of the year was when, I'll take it as 2 years. So it was when the second wave of COVID was going on, and so there was this, one of the friends from my cousin's friend, I was part of the same WhatsApp group. And it was a time when the times were tough. People were running here and there. And the instance was one of his friends was roaming around the city with two people in his car and trying to find an oxygen cylinder. That was a time when I realized that how important is family and friends. So that's when, with the help of friends, he was able to locate some place and get some urgent help. So this was a very latest time what I can remember, which actually I fear, like when I want to recollect that, I'm able to get frightened of the times. But this was one of the most dreaded times which I think most of the human race has gone through, which I don't wish we foresee again in the future. Back to
Moving on to the next topic. What would you do if you are a ruthless pirate? Alok Singh. What would you do if you are a ruthless pirate?
Ruthless pirate. Look at me. Look at me. Could there be a worse oxymoron? If I was a ruthless pirate, I would renounce being a pirate then and there. I would renounce being a pirate then and there. Yeah, I say renounce. Maybe that word again doesn't fit into the realm of pirate, being a pirate, and renouncing it as though I'm renouncing a position, I'm renouncing the throne. But if I was a ruthless pirate, I think I'd be dead sure that I'd be up the food chain, right? It would be worth renouncing something like that and come back to the world, and maybe, just maybe, amidst the sea there is an island, and on that island is the Bodhi tree that this pirate Alok Simha would sit under. And after multiple years, I don't have a beard right now, but being a pirate, I probably have a beard. And I would have a longer one if I had meditated for years. After that, I would have this moment of enlightenment that would say, why did I renounce being a pirate after all? Because life was so good. I was the master of the seas. People would fear me on land. I was ruthless. Someone called me ruthless. And then I renounced it to become what? That Bodhi tree, if you find it, you would at that day call me the ruthless pirate, and I would be happy to be one, because sitting under the tree, I would have gained nothing.
I would say thank you, Mr. Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay. Which is your favorite cartoon character and why? Toastmaster Aditya. Which is your favorite cartoon character and why?
At least no one knows me. So basically my favorite cartoon character obviously is Batman. Batman is the only superhero who doesn't have any superpowers. So in accordance to our theme for today, which is, well, the word of the day is audacious. So why could a human have the audacity to claim himself as a superhero? Well, there's many aspects we can improve upon us, like our physical and mental well-being, and pushing it to the furthest limit. So have you ever noticed that a gladiator in combat, he doesn't wear chest armor? This is to signify that even though he is completely vulnerable at the moment of battle, he has so much confidence in his strengths and abilities that he chooses to leave the most vital organs open and fight the enemy. So I took this philosophy from my favorite cartoon character, Batman, and implemented this in my life. So I've noticed that there is a significant lack of medical appliances which are portable and can be used in remote areas of the world. So what I took upon myself is basically creating an electromyography machine. which can have the ability to detect Parkinson's at the earliest by using 2 ratio systems, and now I'm forming a patent for it. Thank you.
An idle brain is Devil's workshop. Toastmaster Saurav Marma. An idle brain is Devil's workshop.
Idle brain is
Devil's workshop.
There is no doubt that if the brain is idle, then you are going to play the role of that, or your brain is going to play the role of that. Because at that time, when you are not thinking any creative and you are not engaged in any work, you will go to the height of imagination and become we can play havoc in the life, and it can definitely become a devil in your life. Okay,
What weird behavior did you pick from your parents? Toastmaster Abhay. What weird behavior you took from your parents, pick up from your parents?
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I didn't pick up a weird behavior from my parents, but I rather picked up a few weird eating habits from my grandparents. So my grandma was someone who would have dosa with coffee, plain dosa with coffee, and trust me, it's a very wonderful experience when that dosa and the coffee come together. You can't really imagine it until you try it, but it's a weird combination when you think about it, but when you really have it, it's amazing. So try out some dosa and coffee. The other weird habit that I picked up from my granddad was eating rice with amras or mango butter. So and adding to that is ghee. So again, that's a quite weird combination. I haven't fully yet come to terms with that to appreciate it, but I do eat it at times just to reminiscence. So I guess some combinations are truly weird, and the most weird habit that me and my granddad had was after lunch on a Sunday afternoon, especially during mango season, we would wear white clothes and sit down to eat mangoes and spill mangoes all over on our clothes. So that was a weird habit, I suppose. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, that was a truly weird eating habit. Okay, so what is something that you have tried and you would never do it again? Toastmaster Sharma.
Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters, guests, and all gathered over here. So this I'm going to talk about somewhere when I was in my school days. Okay, so we had one friend who came over to our house. So he had a pack of cigarette with him. So he was smoking. I was watching him smoke, and after a while they left. The pack of cigarette was lying. So I found no one at home. So I took one cigarette and I lit, and I went to the bathroom to try out. And I felt, my God, what a horrible thing this is on earth. How can someone, have a pack of cigarette and keep smoking it all the time? I just threw it out. And I didn't say it to anyone. Then I came out and I had a neighbor. So I called her and I said, see, this is what I did. Don't tell it to anyone. She came home and she told everyone, this is what Sharma did. You all know this. Oh my God, I felt so embarrassed. I said, no, never in my life I'm going to do it again. Yeah. That's all.
Everyone feels the same, weird, but they don't stop it. I hope you have stopped it. Okay, next topic. Reaction to your first deja vu moment. Toastmaster Ganesh Bhai. Reaction to your first deja vu moment.
I think very rarely could have happened. But I think last couple of weeks back, I had gone to my daughter's PTM. So, and generally not that as in I would say not she's a gone case, but I would say not that I had a greatest of the admiration for her academic abilities, so to say. I have left her on her own. She has her own weird thing. Very difficult to parent. Replica of me most of the times. So we had gone, and I had gone to face-to-face PTM after a long time actually. So sort of a deja vu, but yeah. So went there, sat, quite a few parents. Finally, our turn came. Met the teacher. So asking how is it? She was all praise. I was wondering whom she's talking about whom, but anyway, it sounded nice. I let her continue. So she was saying, daughter is doing very good. She's got to see her speak, sir. The way she constructs her sentences, the way she thinks. If at all any point I have to drive into the class to her batchmates, she is my trump card. So that's how I look at it. Then I was getting little happy. Then I said, so is my daughter in top 10? What do you say? What are you talking, sir? She's a topper for me. That was a real deja vu moment, because growing up, I was one of those bright kids. So when I could hear my daughter's school teacher also echo that, I felt really nice. So I remember those moments for a long time. Thank you.
The next topic is mother is the symbolism of justice, then father is the symbolism of. So the topic goes to Toastmaster Sitaram. Mother is the symbolism of justice, then father is the symbolism of.
Mother is the symbolism of justice, and father would be the basically father corrects us and reprimands us, but mother is sort of she's kind towards and says okay. So father would be someone who corrects us.
Which toy did you hate most as a child? Shreyas, Toastmaster Shreyas. Which toy did you hate most as a child?
Which toy? Well, for those of you who do not know me, I'm a twin. Okay, and my twin, she had her share of toys, and I have an older brother, and he had his share of toys. So there were a lot of toys, and whoever came home, they used to feel like they used to ask our parents, "Do you run a play school or some sort of that?" And because there were toys everywhere, and because I was the youngest, I had a variety of options. There was cars, there were bikes, but I like the dogs. Okay, don't think I'm a creep, but yeah, I like the little pretty dogs, and I used to sit and we used to have that toy talk kind of conversations. But somewhere along the line, we forget the child in us. There are a lot of conversation about stereotypes. There's a lot of conversation about not being true to yourself. But when I recollect the topic and being true to whatever I want to do in life. And being a twin, being a writer, or being a human. I mean, go out, be yourself, like whatever you want, and limit yourself to the judgments around. Truly live it. Truly live life. Yeah, cheers.
Toastmaster shares. What useless facts do you know? Toastmaster Priya. What useless facts do you know?
Not knowing any fact is the biggest useless fact that I can share right now. Because most of the things, I don't go much into detail because of a lot of, at least off late, I'm just so occupied first that I'm not going too much in detail that whatever comes into my ears, I assume that is a fact. And it is my brother at the end who kind of, bullies me, telling me, take the advantage of the fact that, I have the half knowledge and kind of bullies me and, makes me believe actually that is the truth. For example, very recently something happened, but right now since I'm in a spot, I'm just not able to recollect anything. So very recently I learned how to drive. So I kind of get very confused with the accelerator, brake and the clutch. Very easily, even though the trainer taught me it's the ABC format. But for some reason, my brother just cross-checked that I've actually got my training right. And after my car driving training, I took, I think, a month break. I did not continue practice. So I requested him to take me to an empty ground so that I could kind of get a little well-versed before I start going to the main road. Now he confused me, telling the direction of the accelerator, brake, clutch, the reverse way. And I actually believed him because he just wanted to test me how much do I remember and how good I could, remember things. So he knows that I can get probably easily very fooled, and he did that on purpose. One thing is I had the confidence that at the right time I knew he will bring up the hand clutch because similar thing happened 100 years back where I learned car driving then. He tried it within the apartment and instead of pressing the brake, I pressed the clutch, and luckily he was there. At the right time he pulled the handbrake. So he wanted to test if I would repeat the same mistake again. So he kind of taught me the reverse to know that will I actually correct him. So this is the kind of, that's why I say half knowledge is always, people can take advantage in food where you can land up sharing it to people. Over to you.
Okay, I believe many people can learn driving lessons from you, Priyanka. Bangalore, that is required. If you could be any supernatural creature, what would you be and why? Toastmaster Vishwanath. If you could be any supernatural creature, what would you be and why? Yeah.
Good evening, Toastmaster. The best creature, what I would be preferring would be the chameleon. I think we all know. I think it changes based on its colors, based on the decisions, what you do, and probably you get used to the things in the context of in which you might have to react properly or you might have to do the right things at that time. So the best would be the chameleon part, chameleon to be, and what it also gives a confidence is that you should be able to deliver the things what you needed, or you want to support someone, you will be able to do it. With the change of colors, you might have to wear certain hats on a daily basis and perform that role or perform that character sometimes. And that would be the best creature I would prefer to, probably if I get an opportunity next time when I warm up. Thank you so much.
I think you brought till the right side of a chameleon. So whenever I used to think any person as a chameleon, I mean had a proper, positive attitude towards them. Yeah, okay, that is good to hear. So I hope like everyone has enjoyed the table topic session. So over to you, dear Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chirant. You know, Chirant is doing first time this role of table topic master. The kind of topics he is given, in fact, it also brings a lot of personality to us. You know, how what Toastmasters have undergone, friends and cigarettes and so many other things. So interesting. For that wonderful job, what do we give Toastmasters? So now is the time to face the mirror and see how we have done so far in the meeting. I request the General Evaluator Toastmaster Ayyappa to take over.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm sure you all agree our spouses are good in giving suggestions, advices, feedback. Yes, no?
Yes.
But it took a while for me to realize what she's right. It's not that she's wrong, but she did not listen to her. But after joining Toastmasters, I realized the importance of feedback. And I realized I was not brave enough to take her advice. With that note, let me see how today's meeting went on. I loved the way the meeting was organized, and especially the board. I'm seeing this kind of board of a long, long time. Very decorative, and it was very pleasant. The moment we enter the hall, and those, the smile, the cat, I don't know what it is. It gives a very good impression about the meeting, right? And meeting started bang on time, exactly at 6:30. And today's Sergeant at Arms, Shashank Bhatt. You got a great voice, and you have a great presence on stage. And you connected well. You had a story and connected well with the team, and just spoke about the rules and regulations of meeting. And a couple of suggestions, Mr. Toastmaster Shah. One thing is make your story a bit crisp. And also when you, for example, you're talking about the cell phone, right? Because make it create a suspense so that they should not understand. Because already, people can judge this is what you're trying to say. And also you could have avoided your movement, because in the previous speech also I saw your movement it was really required movement, otherwise it's not required, right? Having said that, let's give Toastmaster Sham a good round of applause. Now our marathon man, presiding officer, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. I always love the way he conducts a meeting, or maybe within the table topics, or giving a speech. He'll have his sense of humor is excellent. And today also he had a wonderful story about airline and how Tata's helped to come out of the situation when he had a problem, right? And you connected well, he already told, he said something like, from his perception, it's all about the decision. Fantastic. I mean, very well connected with the team. Now again, to some of the suggestions, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. Probably you will be presiding officer, because I still remember some of the senior masters, the CEO of the club. Just be here and just look at the people and talk. Because the moment, as long as you were here, you were kind of, and that was the aura was there. The moment you come here, if something was, I felt something was missing. And also you have made your story very crisp. And you could have made it very crisp. So having said that, wonderful job done. Let's give Toastmaster Vaidyanathan a good round of applause. Now, the favorite Toastmaster, my favorite Toastmaster, Toastmaster Nitin, TMOD of today's meeting. The charisma, the authoritativeness when it comes on stage, it is I can't compare to any other Toastmaster. I love the way he presents his stories, or his speeches, or table topics, anything, whatever he does, he does it on time. And he had a beautiful story, and always, he speaks about China story. But it could be the same story, but whenever he presents, I feel as if he is telling something different, right? So the humor, I don't know how to articulate. He has got everything. And only one suggestion, Toastmaster making. Probably, this is my suggestion. I'll tell you, very authority, just being an MC, probably just loosen a bit, right? You are right. I'm not sure. Maybe your type of job is that's why probably can a bit loosen it up. But having said that, fantastic job done. I've been doing, and we can do much more varieties going forward. Yeah. Let's give Toastmasters. Before that, I just let me call upon the timer of today. Could you please read out the time to bring speakers?
So Toastmasters are 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And Toastmaster Chetan to 3 minutes 45 seconds. Toastmaster Melvin to 4 minutes 55 seconds. And Toastmaster Pratik to 7 minutes 10 seconds.
Thank you so much. So all are on time then.
Excellent. Pratik and
Melvin, how many minutes?
Melvin by 55 seconds and Pratik by 30 seconds.
That's 7 minutes 30 seconds, right? You give 30 seconds grace.
Yeah. Grace.
So 7 minutes 30 seconds you can finish. So 7 minutes 10 seconds is pretty okay.
Let me call upon the evaluators. First evaluator is Toastmaster Sudipto to evaluate Toastmaster Sahan.
There is an extra chill in the room today. And surely that is because of a couple of audacious Toastmasters breaking the ice today. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and Shahana in particular, where are Shahana, getting started in any task is the most difficult part. And today, with your very first speech, you took a giant step in your Toastmasters speaking journey. There were several positives which I noted in your speech. Let me recount three of those. Firstly, I would say you took an audacious decision to speak without notes. For the very first speech, the notes act more like a psychological crutch, not that you are going to go and look at it, but it gives you the confidence that something is there, and the fact that you did without notes is really commendable. Secondly, the smile which you sported throughout the speech. Sometimes it was a less smile, sometimes you broke out in a much bigger smile. And that added lots of goodness to your speech. It helps in three ways. One, the connect with the audience goes up much more. Then your face itself lit up. But more than anything else, when you smile, you are unconsciously calming your own nerves, and with that smile, I think you did a brilliant job. Okay, thirdly, the subtle humor you introduced, at least I counted two places, like the lock your sister put on the cover. Very well done. Humor is very difficult even for an experienced Toastmaster, but for a very first speech to try that, kudos to you. Now, I'm going to give you 3 tips on your speech today to take a leaf out of Pratik's, Toastmaster Pratik's speech. He talked about 2 P's and talked about 3 P's. First P, practice. Second P, practice. Third P, practice. Okay, I cannot really overemphasize how much practice helps the speech. And while you were confident, but you were being a bit nervous also, that could have been lessened. And the parts of the speech where you forgot the next part of the speech, right? That also probably could have been avoided. Having said that, I think
that also showed a new facet to your speech. I thought you recovered brilliantly the first time when you were searching for your next few lines, but then you recovered really very well and went on with the speech. So Shavana, well begun is half done, and with your first step in the speaking journey, it was a joy to hear, and I'm looking forward to more of the speeches from you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudipto, for those wonderful inputs, and Toastmaster Sahana in particular. Though you forgot on speech, you just carried it so well, and very Sahana actually. Yeah, okay, yeah. So well, when the audience couldn't notice, what went wrong. Yeah, it was a wonderful job, and being a first time of icebreaker, wonderful job. Let's give Toastmaster Sudipto and Sahana. Let me call upon Toastmaster Lalit, distinguished Toastmaster Lalit to evaluate Toastmaster Chetan.
A very good evening to everybody present here and my target speaker Chetan. Chetan, can I see a raise of your hand? Okay, fantastic. Chetan, I love the way you started, and it felt like a Chikmagalur cup of coffee. The moment you started was very refreshing. However, I'm going to steal the word coffee from you and use it to give you my evaluation. The first C stands for connect. You immediately were able to connect with the audience by asking them a question, and that was about your birthplace. The second part that you did really well was your open body language. And for a first time speaker, I didn't see you, slouch your back, make your shoulders look small. You were using your hands right, and that's a very good positive. The next F is you are funny. I remember the joke that you cracked about your wife, and that got all of us laughing, and that I must say is a very credible point for your speech. And the final E is your energy. Remember, highest energy always wins the room. Saying all of this, what are some of the areas that you could have improved on? I know it is your first speech, but I'm going to be I'm going to try being a little subtle about these things, but see how you can add this for your upcoming speech. First, and the most important suggestion, it felt like you went up the staircase to about 5 floors, and that was your speech, okay? You were taking us through a journey, and you just jumped off the window and ended it. That means your conclusion was very abrupt. I was expecting a little more. I was expecting some drama, excitement, and before I could even do that, I was seeing the audience standing for their standing ovation. However, continuation of that would have actually, it would have been nice, and it would have given it a nice end, or maybe an uphead for the next sequel. Now, the second thing about this whole cup of coffee thing is, I saw you walk past people and you were carrying a cup in your hand, but I never saw you use it. However, if you could actually make use of that cup of coffee, I don't know why you got that. In fact, if you're not using it, it ends up becoming a distraction to the audience. The audience is now wondering, what is this going to happen? And if you did not use it, everybody's thinking, did I pay attention to it or not? And finally, to your conclusion part, you spoke to us about your past, which was your parents, your childhood. You also spoke a lot of things where things did not go your way, but you did not speak about your future. You spoke about past and present, not future. And PPF is a technique that you use for an icebreaker. All in all, Chetan, I must say, I love your energy. I love the way you use your body language. I think it comes naturally to you. Just focus on your conclusion, and with that conclusion, you have a completely baked pie, or you could say a completely caffeinated coffee. With that, all the best to you for your future speeches. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster, DTM Lalit. Toastmaster Chetan, don't worry, because you're a first timer, you're icebreaker, so you take all the inputs, whatever the best way possible, and over the period of time you can utilize, inculcate whatever the suggestion given by Toastmaster. Toastmaster DTM Lalit. Let's give DTM Lalit and the speaker Toastmaster Chetan good round of applause. And one suggestion one's children, never say my parents are farmers. Just use, they're agriculturists, right? The farmer is better way to, that's my suggestion again. Okay. And to evaluate Toastmaster Pratik, I would like to request DJ Rasi to come on stage.
Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator, and Pratik in particular. Today we are attempting a topic on talking about your communication style. So what did you do great about your speech? First, the style itself was amazing. Your stage presence, the confidence, the way in which you presented your speech was exemplary. I was asking Ganesh and he said the way he just went on stage and boosted the entire stage, it was brilliant. So your style was impeccable. The second thing which you did brilliantly was connect with the audience with pithy sayings. You said if you want your communication to work, you have to work on your communication. You told us the story about your initiating style with children, your brilliant style with your supporting style with your team members. So you gave us a great connect with stories and with sayings. The third thing which I loved about your speech was your self-reflection. You were very reflective. You not only talked about your strengths and your sayings, but you also reflected on where you were to improve. You said you could improve by listening more, you could do in those things. So you were very, very reflective about it, about your assumptions and what you do, you interrupt. So you were very, very reflective, and that's very rare about a good speaker. Now, speaking about your reflection, your style, and all the other things, you need to improve, because sometimes even the Taj Mahal has a small scratch. So what is the areas where you have to improve? First, the clarity. Now, when you're talking about a style of communication, you have to explain to the audience that there are 4 styles, just like the DICE, D-I-A-S. DICE, direct, where you are blunt; initiating, where you go and approach people and you're friendly; analytical, where you think too much and you calculate when you're speaking; and supportive, when you support somebody. And then tell them, I'm initiative because I went out, and supportive because I helped my people. Then they'll understand much better, because they don't know. Not everybody has read the guidelines, right? So you have to be clear about what style you're speaking and explain that to the audience. Second thing, sometimes reflection is good, but as the French saying goes, if you have too much of something, it can actually work against you. And you were very, very critical about yourself. I assume too much, I interrupt people, I go on and speak whenever it's not necessary. I was wondering, you're popular with kids, but I don't think so your wife can live with you with all this. So, you have to tone down your self-criticism a little bit and say, okay, these are the 2 points I have to improve, but I'm working on it. But I don't think so you are all that. I think so you're just overcritical, because you said you assume a lot, and when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. So I think so the assumptions were a little too much, but otherwise I think so you did a wonderful job. And since Surekha ma'am has been telling a lot of poetry in the last few weeks, I am dedicating this poetry to Surekha ma'am for you. Pratik, today you took us through a wonderful journey of your communication style. Your self-reflection brought us all a smile. But just be a little less critical and you'll go the extra mile. Thank you.
Thank you, DJ Rasi, for those wonderful inputs. And also, Toastmaster Pratik, one thing I observed is like you could have, you just have one story, narrate the story, because also I did so many eyes were there, as Dr. Rasi told. And also, I felt it is in single tone throughout your speech. You had a great energy, but the intonation was missing. It was like flat. Yeah. Wonderful attempt. Let's give Toastmaster Pratik and DJ Rasi a good round of applause. To evaluate our Humor King, past president, district director, Toastmaster Melvin, the evaluator, Toastmaster Vivek. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Toastmaster Melvin was presenting a project which is delivering social speeches, which is unusual in Toastmasters but very common in the real world. So when you honor an organization and when you genuinely do it from the bottom of your heart, it starts showing. Melvin did not create a fictitious organization. Usually that's what it's done when delivering such projects, but a real one. Not only that, Melvin could have just honored the organization, but he took pains to invite the representatives. He involves a lot of thoughtfulness. As if that was not brilliant enough, he prepares a commendation notes and hands it over to them. When you do it from heart, Melvin, words do not just matter. Let me give you a small suggestion, mostly to ward off the evil eyes here. I think you told the name of the organization and the people involved a bit too early. What you should have done is talked about the couple, how they had a very nice life, and later on how they changed and became failures, and then tell the name of the organization and the people. Keep the suspense for a little bit of thrill. Having said that, I must say this is the first time I am hearing this project being done in such a classy manner. More from the heart and not as much from the words, because you don't need as too many words when you do so much from the heart. My friends, that is my guru, Toastmaster Melvin Smith for you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek, for those excellent feedback on this critical project. Toastmaster Melvin, one suggestion, because already when I started speech, right, already your title has been told by TMO. Again, my title of the speech is, you started. So that you could have avoided. And also, as rightly said, you could have created suspense in your speech. It was already revealed in the beginning itself. And one more last suggestion is, you handed over the certificate and just abruptly, and I just could have told little more before, handing over to TMO. Having said that, you will do wonders when you present here on stage. Let's give a good applause to Toastmaster Vivek. Now we have tabletop master Chirag. I love the way he conducted the session. The topics are very simple, easy to connect to their life. It is not like written writing. I did not feel any of the topics are, of course, doesn't mean that I could speak on all the topics, but with a little more effort I can speak. That's what I said. Yeah. And you had rejoiners for each topics. That is fantastically done. Once couple of suggestions, and when you call the topic, just repeat twice. Slowly repeat twice. Because some of the people are confused, asking, and we are wasting some time, right? So probably you can repeat twice and then call the name. That's the one thing. And second one is, you told Nazni as per your request, right? There is a kind of bias, right? Yes or no? You said, let me give a topic connected to the team. So even if she said, just it's between you and Nazni, but don't reveal it to the team. Having said that, wonderful attempt, as the TMOD said, that being a first timer, brilliantly done. And let's give a TTM Toastmaster for with that note, and one more thing I just forgot to mention, this is again I don't point out again, because when you're leading applause, right, just lead applause by yourself. Don't expect the audience to start time, you just start yourself. Then for example, in Evaluator, right, you kept quiet and when you're waiting for the audience to start the applause, you just lead the applause, let them, all together. That's one thing. And also, one more point is, like, I love Toastmaster Nitin's, rejoiners for every speeches, every role takers. It was brilliant. I can, it may come in my dreams also tonight. Yeah. With that note, I end the meeting. Yeah, it's a long time on stage. I don't forget more this. Okay, let me call upon the timer.
So when I look at the board, there is a cat says that I'm not happy, right? And after noting down the time, it's already more than 8 o'clock, 8:30. Table topic speakers, out of 16 members, except 3 people took less than time allotted. And evaluators, Sudipto took 3 minutes 14 seconds, DTM Lalit took 3 minutes 10 seconds, and Toastmaster Vivek took 1 minute 42 seconds, DTM Rajib sir took 3 minutes 15 seconds. And Table Topic Master took 35 seconds, and TMOD took 35 minutes. I was checking your listening skill. Thank you. And TMOD took 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about accountant, Toastmaster, Rashi.
So today's meeting was amazing. We didn't have a lot of crutch words or fillers that we used.
Let me call upon the grammarian, Toastmaster Chaitra.
Today we had a great meeting. I'm going to read out some instances of good grammar today. Has not been a cakewalk, slightest distraction, unflinching support, oxymoron, and fictitious. There are some instances that needed improvement. For example, can able to could have been was able to. Do mistakes could have been made mistakes. Informations should have been information. The plural does not have an X at the end. Has huge family support. Could have been has a lot of family support. I don't think so that. Should have been I don't think that. And just a small note, when you're up on stage giving a prepared speech, try to use formal language because you're already wearing formal clothes. So for example, super nervous should have been very nervous. I'm also happy to say that a lot of people use the word of the day today. Toastmaster Nitin, Toastmaster Melvin, Toastmaster Robinson, Toastmaster Nazni, Toastmaster Aditya, Toastmaster Sudipto. I don't know if I've missed anyone, but congratulations for using the word of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chaitra, for wonderfully crafted the grammarian report. And it's a tough job. Listening and just noting down is a very tough job. Let's give all the tackling players a good round of applause. With that note, I thank you so much for the Webinar and team for giving this opportunity. And with that note, I just hand it over to Toastmaster Nitin.
Let me be a little bit audacious in giving a rejoinder on General Evaluator. Toastmaster Ayappa looks so tough, but I know he's soft from heart. So what do you do to get good marks? I caught him in a private moment and told him, Ayappa, you're looking good today. That's it. A lot of kind words from Ayappa. Thank you very much. And of course, whatever Ayappa mentioned, I also thank my mentor, Robinson, because without him, when I joined the Toastmasters, I would not have been molded the way I am today. So thank you, Toastmaster Robinson, for that help. The voting links are open. Kindly put the votes for the evaluator and whatever. And the award is BTMC. The code word is BTMC. BTMC. If you are done, just raise your hands. Finished? So for that wonderful job done by the general evaluators, what do we all need? I must thank the committee for giving me the opportunity. I've been doing this role after 208 meetings. Yeah. And so thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And I hand it over back to the Reciting Officer, Vaidyanathan.
Thank you very much, Nitin. So thank you very much. I think Nitin deserves a round of applause once again for excellent job. So things which begin well ends well, and today we had a superb meeting, and thanks to every member who came on stage, and thanks to all the lovely audience, despite braving the hot weather, so we turned up in large numbers, so thank you very much. Now it's time for the final ceremony, which is the award ceremony. So let me begin with the evaluator. Any guesses? The best evaluator award for today's... Yeah, exactly. It's going to be DTM Razdi. And now, for the best tag team player, the award goes to our grammarian, Toastmaster Tata. The man who loves to listen to different songs, different beats, depending on his mood. And the best favorite topic speaker award goes to Toastmaster Alan Aram. Another man who took this role after 208 meetings and did it in style. So Toastmaster Nitin, welcome. And when he comes on stage, he walks away with an award always. And the best speaker award goes to, any guesses? Toastmaster Melvin Smith. Thank you very much. One final piece of announcement from information from my guests. If at all, if you want to have additional information related to Toastmasters, please do stay back. And please do reach out to the committee members. So we are more than willing to help you out with all the relevant information. And more importantly, we do have a shorter version of Toastmasters where you can learn all the tricks of the trade when it comes to public speaking, which is called a speech craft, which will run for the next 8 weeks. It starts on 21st of August. And if you need to have more information, please do reach out to the committee members. So with that, it's time for us to head back home. So please do stay back, and then, sorry, there is one more important thing that we are waiting for. The snacks from our beloved Selector man. Please do wait for the delicious snack. And now it's time to wind up this meeting. Thank you very much.